Hello everyone, welcome you to the 8th lecture of a quality engineering subject, and today's topic is the 7 QC tools. So here is a continuation lecture of 7 QC tools. So here is the third tool of quality control, which is the cause and the effect diagram, and which is also known as the fishbone diagram. So the cause and the effect diagram or fishbone diagram is also known as the Ishikawa diagram of root cause analysis. And the term cause and effect diagram also describes the tool to capture the causes of a particular effect and the relationship between the cause and effect. So this is used to find the relation between the cause and effect with the help of this cause and effect diagram, or you can say the fishbone diagram. So this term fishbone is used to describe the look of the diagram on the paper. And also the basic use of the tool is to find the root causes of the various problems. Hence it is also called the root cause analysis. And this is done with the help of this cause and effect diagram, or you can say the fishbone diagram, which is the third tool of quality control. And also this tool helps the workers who spends time on concentrating on the causes of the problems rather than the focusing on the improving the indications of the problem. So the more focus is on the causes of the problems in the case of cause and effect diagram, or we can say the fishbone diagram. And also the basic concept in the diagram is that the name of the basic problem is entered at the right of the diagram at the end of the main bone, or you can say the main bone. So here you can see in the case of fishbone diagram, which is shown over here. So here is the main problem, which is the incorrect deliveries, which is placed at the right end of the diagram. So here you can see the incorrect deliveries is in our case is the problem, and we have to solve out with the help of this fishbone diagram, or you can say the root cause diagram, or a cause and effect diagram. So how can we draw a cause and effect diagram, or can say how can we create a cause and effect diagram? So first clearly identify and define the problem, or you can say the effect for which the causes must be identified. So here you can see, first of all you have to define the main problem, and you have to also identify the effect and also the cause for that particular problem. So now place the problem, or you can say the effect, at the right or the head of the diagram, and also identify all the broad areas of the problem. Write in all the detailed possible causes in each of the broad area, and also each cause identified should be look upon for furthermore specified causes, and also view the diagram and evaluate the main causes of that particular problem. And also you have to set goals and take action on the main cause to eliminate the problem. So here is an example of when a cause and effect diagram which can be used. So first of all, this diagram which can be used to detect the problem of the incorrect deliveries. So here you can see the incorrect deliveries, and here are the causes of that particular issue, like the skill and the communication, or you can say the various errors in the transport, or you can say the, and here are the sub things of this each and every defect and cause: knowledge, and you can say the strategy, and also the documentation, and also the information lacking, and also the order details, and also the sales stall, or we can also hear the lack of knowledge. So this all are affecting the root cause analysis, so that this a defect, or you can say we can found the incorrect deliveries. So when a production team is about to launch a new product, the factor that will affect the final product must be recognized with the help of this root cause analysis, or you can say the fishbone analysis. And also the fishbone diagram, which can depict problems before they have a chance to begin. And also the effect of being examined is normally an aspect of the product, or we can say the service quality. So here how the root, or you can say how a fishbone diagram, which is useful to overcome this effect of incorrect deliveries. So here you can see, you can find various cause and effect on this function, or you can say in the incorrect deliveries. So here you can see all the steps which are mentioned clearly: transport, procedure, skills, and you can say communication error. So these all factors which affect the incorrect deliveries, and also here are some sub factor which also affect these incorrect deliveries problems. So you have to plot all the points on this diagram to eliminate this error of incorrect deliveries. So these all types of sketch is known as the fishbone diagram, or effect and cause diagram. The next one is the scatter diagrams, which is also a tool of quality control, or which is the fifth tool of quality control, is the scatter diagram. So the scatter diagrams are used to study the possible relationship between the two variables, and they do to indicate the existence of a relationship as well as the strength of that relationship. So this type of diagrams which is used to find out the relation between the two variables. So a scatter diagram is composed of the horizontal axis containing the measured values of one variable on a vertical axis representing the measurements of the other variable. So here is a x-axis and y-axis. So in the x-axis you have to place the one type of variable, and here on the y-axis you have to place the other type of variable. Then you have to find out the values, and from this diagram you can easily find that the variables x and y have, if any, relationship or not. So based on the theory of the linear regression originated from the studies performed by the Sir Francis Galton, the scatter diagram was developed. So the intuitive and the qualitative conclusion which can be drawn about the paired data, or we can say the variables, in such manner. So this concept of correlation was employed to decide whether a significant relationship exists between the paired data or not. And the purpose of scatter diagram is to display what happens to one variable when another variable which gets changed. So what is the effect of the other variable on the first variable, that we can study from the help of study of this scatter diagram. And the type of relationship is used to test a theory to establish the relationship between the two variables after plotting the scatter diagrams of that two different variables. And the relationship that exists is indicated by the slope of the diagram, and also data patterns can be positive, negative, or you can say there will be a no relationship, or you can say display the no relationship after drawing the scatter diagrams. So here in the figure, first of all, here is the x term, or you can say the in the x-axis some values are plotted, and here also on the axis of y some other values which are plotted. So here you can see x and y with the both are the different variables, and here is a value of x and here is the value of y. So after drawing the scattered diagram, you can see that the increase in the value of y may depend upon the increase in value of x. Here you can see the value of x which gets increased, and also in the case of y, as the value of x increased, and also the value of y which also gets the increase. So here you can see the relation between x and y which becomes the positive relation. And here you can see as the value of y which gets decreased, the value of x gets increased. So here also there will be some relationship between the x and y. So here you can see as the value of y which gets decreased, the value of x which gets increased, or you can say as the value of x which gets increased, the value of y which gets decreased. So it in this case, the which happens in the case of the negative correlation in the case of a scatter diagram. And here you can see the values of x and value of y. So there will be a no relation between these all x and y, all the values of x and y. So here you can see there will be no correlation which found in the case of a third one. So here you can see there will be no relation between the x and y variable. So there will be a first chance it may be positive, it may be negative, or there will be a no correlation between the x and y. So there are the three various probability which can be present in the case of scattered diagrams. And after the drawing that, you can also find the effect of this scatter diagram of the two different variables, and also you can find the relationship between them. And how can you draw a scatter diagram, or how can you create a scatter diagram? So here are the various steps. So first, collect the two pieces of data and create a summary table of the data, and also draw a diagram which labeling the horizontal and vertical axis. And also it is common that the cause variable which is labeled on the x-axis, and also the effect variable which will be labeled on the y-axis, and also plot the data pairs on the diagram, and also interpret the scatter diagram for the direction and strength. And the x variable is independent and the y variable is dependent on the x according to the scatter diagram. And here is the example of when a scatter diagram which can be used, or a scatter diagram which can be used to identify the relationship between the speed of the whole production of an operation and the number of defective parts which are made. And also it displaying the direction of the relationship, either it will be positive, or you can say there will be no relationship, and will determine whether the increasing the assembly line speed will increase the, or you can say that decrease the number of defective parts are made with the help of these scatter diagrams. So here are the examples when it can be used, or how it can be used to overcome the various defects in an organization. And here is the fifth tool, or you can say the fifth tool of quality control, which is the flow chart. So the flow chart is a pictorial representation that show all the steps in a process. So it is a graphical representation of how work is done. So the first step for the improvement term is draw a flow chart of the process under the examination, and the well-defined process will define all the steps during the operation, and unless it is clear the process and cannot be improved. So by the breaking the process down into the constituent steps, a flow chart which can be useful in identifying where errors are likely to found in a system. So here is a flow chart. So if a window of a shop which gets open, then you have to take the order from the customer. So first you have to ask the customer about the money. So after, if we can say after the customer gives you the money, then if you have the pizza, so first of all, then if you place the money is a yes, or can say it will give you the money, then you have to get the pizza. So first of all, you have to check the availability of, of, of that pizza. If yes, then give it to the customer, and if no, then you have to put the more pizza in oven, and after that you have to get pizza and then give this pizza to the customer. And afterward, the time to be the closing or not. If the answer is yes, then lockup will be done, and if no, then you have to again take the order from the customer. And all this effect, or can say all this flow chart will be done. And also this thing is repeated continuously. From this flow chart we can identify the all the effect of the flow. And a flowchart is not having any statistical basis, but is an excellent visualization tool, and it also shows the progress of work and flow of material through information, or you can say the sequence of operation during the process. So here you can see the sequence of all the terms which is given very clearly, and also it gives the symbols. Flowchart is useful in an initial process analysis and should be complemented by the process flow sheets, or you can say the process of flow diagrams, and everyone involved in the project should draw a flowchart of the various process being studied to reveal the different perceptions of how the process operates. And also a flowchart provides a visualization of a process by use of symbols that represent the different types of actions, activities, or situations. So here you can see various types of symbols which are used in the case of flowchart. So here you can see this is a square, but it is not. Here is a rectangle is used. So these all are the flowcharts, different symbols. And here are the questions for you. Explain cause and effect diagram, or you can say the fishbone diagram in detail. Explain scatter diagrams in detail, and also explain flowchart with example of flow diagram. You have to solve all these questions and send it to Google Classroom.